Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And if you are one of my regular viewers, you already know where we're going. If you read the title, you know where we're going. But if you are one of my regular viewers and you watch my commentary on Project Zero Hour Prototype, you will know why we are covering this, and I'm going to tell you anyways. Metallica's Load. Now, the very first time I ever got to see Metallica live was on the Load tour. Load was the very first Metallica album I ever bought on the day of release. Prior to that, the very first Metallica anything I actually owned was Live Shit, Binge, and Purge, which was bought for me as a birthday present. Metallica box set. Great box set. And then I bought all the back albums after that. And then this is where I started buying them brand new when they came out. I got to see them on this tour. My very first concert for Metallica. To this day, still one of the best concerts I have ever seen. Not the best. That is Rammstein. Comparable, though. Oof, good shit. All right. Okay, let's get into this. So, this is the album that turned so many people off of Metallica. Out of Load and Reload. Reload's my favorite. Not as big on Load. Spoiler alert, Reload and Kill 'Em All are my two favorite albums from Metallica. Load, on the other hand, well, it is not as good as Kill 'Em All. It is definitely not as good as Ride the Lightning. It's definitely not as good as Master of Puppets. I do honestly listen to it a lot more than I listen to Justice. I listen to it a shit ton more than I listen to the Black Album. And I like cranking it the fuck up. Reason why I'm talking about Metallica live as well. I'm going to see Metallica live in November. The first time in like 25 years I will be going to see them. They had tickets come out on November 29th, I think was the pre-sale date. Or the 30th. I don't remember. Pre-sale came out on them. I got my pre-sale tickets. 2-night event, 2 different set lists. I cannot wait. My first time going to see a concert in Detroit since 9/11 as well. Really, I have not been to the US in over 20 years just because I didn't have proper ID for crossing the border, that's all. I got that ID problem fixed out. I'm going to go see Metallica. So, I'm going to make sure every Metallica album is covered between now and next November when I go to see Metallica live. So, basically, you can expect to see Metallica at least once a month between now and then. All right, Load. It ain't my bitch. Ah, speaking of bitching. All right, okay. So that is how we open up this album. Now, there was a lot of complaints over that right away just because James is swearing, because apparently no one had ever seen Metallica live. It confused me, but everybody's like, well, live, it's different when it's live. I was like, all right. So to do a whole song with bitch. Now, if you watch any of my reviews, you know that I'm not a fan of referring to women as bitches and hoes. I mean, bitches be crazy. Bitches be crazy. That's different. Ain't my bitch. He's not saying it ain't my woman. He's saying it ain't his complaint. It ain't his bitch. I dig the tune. I think it sets up the album, gets going well. Really kind of fun. Good time. Then it rolls into 2x4. Now, this song never got the love it deserved. This song should have been one of the singles. I was always upset it wasn't, because that drum intro, that just comes in thick and heavy. Definitely should have been one of the singles off of this album, I think. And compared to some of the songs that ended up being singles, it's kind of surprising that 2x4 wasn't. Now, maybe they didn't single it because it's a little bit violent, the whole concept of, beating someone with a 2x4, I get it. But this was the kind of song, man, like, this is just like, and people are going to be, oh, they sounded all grungy. 2x4 really is, Pantera's Walk, as far as I'm concerned. That is the same exact concept, It's that whole chest beating, macho machismo shit. And I'm not putting down that macho machismo shit, because let me tell you, I like 2x4, I can't hear you talking to me. I can't hear you, are you talking to me? Great. Great. Okay, then we move into something that's definitely a lot more grungy, like The House That Jack Built. I don't mind this tune, but is it a song that I necessarily want to go out of my way to listen to? No. It's definitely not a song I want to go out of my way to listen to. But it is a decent song all the same. I like the experimentation on this compared to everything Metallica's already done. Well, everybody puts them down saying, oh, it's a grunge album, Metallica went grunge, it's all that, blah, blah, blah. I agree. There are definitely some valid arguments to that point. Bands have to experiment. Bands have to play with stuff, or they get stagnant, they get bored. You would not get an album like Death Magnetic had they not done an album like Load. You would not have gotten an album like Saint Anger if they hadn't done an album like Load. You know what I mean? And I know you're thinking Saint Anger, that's not a good argument. No, but it's a progression. They really experimented with this and got into a different vibe, different groove. Then they really obviously had to change when it came time to do a new studio album again. So you get Saint Anger, which is completely raw and raw, which they learn their lesson from that, and then you get Death Magnetic, which is more back to a truer form of what people wanted from Metallica, sort of. Until It Sleeps follows up The House That Jack Built. The video for Until It Sleeps is awesome, and most people don't get the symbolism or the inspiration for the video. And even at the time, I didn't get a lot of it, but I really liked the video. I thought it was great. I like trippy videos. I thought it was really cool and weird and all whacked out. Now, there is a famous painting. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm going to move over to the side here because I'm going to pop it up on the screen. This is a really cool, awesome, trippy, surrealist painting. And it was clearly the video inspiration for Until It Sleeps. And I want to put a clip of that video up. I'm going to put a couple still images up of that video in here as well as we're talking, just to kind of show what I'm talking about and give you a little bit of a comparison. And I really, if I could get permission to do a full video essay on it where I could actually talk about the video properly and whatnot and compare it to the painting and show all the different little symbolisms and stuff like that, I would definitely do it. Unfortunately, that's a lot of effort. And without having personal connections to Metallica, that's a lot of effort that probably won't pay off. I'll have a video that'll be either banned, not, and monetization's not an issue for me per se, but if I'm going to do all the work, I want to get a little money out of it, not just, everybody else getting a piece of the action. This is different when I'm doing this, but okay. All right. Okay. Let's get back into this. So Until It Sleeps. I like the video. The video is really cool. The song itself, I don't understand why it was released as a... I understand the video. I think the video is great. I think the video works great with the song. It's one of those songs where I think it's a great video, but it's not necessarily a great single. And video killed the radio star. That's kind of where I'm going with this. This was a song that definitely works as a video. Releasing it as a video single makes total sense. Releasing it as a radio single, doesn't work. Which the next song did, though, which is King Nothing. Oh my god. Okay, so this song, after seeing Metallica live on this tour and seeing this song live, listening to it on the album will never do the same thing. Ever do the same thing again. When that smoke's going and those towers are lifting and that stage starts coming, oh my god, it was magnificent. The Cunning Stunts video tries to do it justice, can't do it live. Oh my god, it was just, exciting. King Nothing is a great song, though. One of those songs that I think has been undervalued and overlooked in the post Newstead era. I know they have played it live, but I don't think it's been played live as much as it should. Realistically, Load and Reload kind of have got the bum's rush in the post Newstead era. Okay, then we're on to Hero of the Day. Hero of the Day, yet another one. I get the video. I know a lot of people don't like the video. A lot of people don't understand the video. I get the video. Could do a whole thing on that video as well. But the thing that goes with it is, once again, it's not a single to me. Hero of the Day is one of those songs. It's one of those songs where you're meant to love it as a fan of the album, as a track on the album. You know, it's one of those great album tracks. But it was never a single track to me, ever. Still to this day is not a single track. Then we go on to Bleeding Me with the orchestra. With the orchestra on S&M, that is the way to do Bleeding Me. This is cool. This is awesome. But I definitely will take the S&M version over this any day of the week. And I have talked about the S&M version. It's really interesting with Load. The front half of the album is really kind of... 2x4 and King Nothing, I enjoy very much listening to those. The rest of the front half, I don't have an issue listening to them if I throw the album in. Or I want to listen to Load, man. I'm going to listen to every one of them. I'm going to sing along. I'm going to have a good time. But the first half of the album, not really my thing. Or I'm not saying not my thing, but not as much as the second half of the album. And the second half of the album, to me, I think there's a little more experimentation. The second half of the album is just a little different. And the second half of the album, to me, is all great album cuts, per se. We're going to get into this as I go. So the second half of the album opens up with Cure. And this musically is a little bit of a simpler song, but I like the message behind it. The idea that everybody's just looking for a cure. Everybody's looking, and it's like everybody's looking for that magic little pill that's going to solve all their issues, and not realizing that, there is no magic little pill that's going to solve all your issues, kind of thing. That's the way I take it. And I really dig this song, and I really kind of like where it goes with it. Even though musically, it's kind of, I hate to use this, Lars, but stock Metallica. Alright. Sorry, that's a joke. Just, if you ever watch the St. Anger documentary, you'll get it. Then you're on a Poor Twisted Me. Oh, man. This is a good one, man. I like the blues riffing on this one. The heavy blues riffing, man. Just that intro, that... Oh, poor twisted me. Oh, yeah. It just got such a great blues-inspired vibe to it. I really just kind of works for me, man. You just kind of sit back. This is one of those ones where you just sit back and it's like, oh yeah, I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Then you're on to Wasting My Hate. Now, what I mentioned earlier about King Nothing, how after seeing them play it live and then listen to this, it's just kind of like, what? No, it's just not the same. Wasting My Hate. I have heard so many live recordings of this song, and not a single one actually measures to what it's like to hear them play this song live. I don't know what it is about the mixing, but they can't get the sound right to what it was like when I saw them play this song live, because the show that I saw them at, they actually did play this one. It's not on Cutting Stunts, if I remember correctly, though. And it was funny because I went on and on and on about how awesome it was live. I finally got my hands on some live recordings of it. Put them on for my buddy Matt, and he goes, I was really waiting for that big, awesome energy rush you were talking about. I go, no, right, you can't hear it on these recordings. You just don't get that, because when you go see it live, is, they do it just like they do it on here, where you get the quiet through, like the harmonica mic, because that's what they use to do the voice, where he does the good day, how you do. So he does all that normal, and then when they kick into it, it thunders through the PA system. But you don't get that thunder on live recordings. I don't know why. It really kind of sucks because that thunder just brings it so much to life. But Wasting My Hate was always one of my favorite songs on this album. And yet another one where I think it should have been a single compared to the songs that ended up as singles. When you look at Until It Sleeps or Hero of the Day, King Nothing, good single. Until It Sleeps, Hero of the Day could have been replaced either by 2x4 or Wasting My Hate. One of the two, I think, would have been a great choice. And then next up is one of Metallica's more controversial songs, Mama Said. Metallica went country, folks. One, the video for this song is awesome. I absolutely love it. And yes, they did actually make a video, and yes, they did actually release a single for Mama Said, and yes, I do actually own it, which I have actually covered. I've covered Metallica singles if you want. There's a video because I was trying to talk more about the B-sides than the songs themselves. Mama Said, though, I actually totally dig on this song, and I'm cool with this song. In all honesty, I would be fine if Metallica busted this song out live. I'd rather listen to this song than Nothing Else Matters. I hate Nothing Else Matters. This one's cool. This one actually feels like it's got some real meaning to it, And I like a twang guitar. I'll be honest, I do. And James has got a great country voice. James can do some pretty cool Metallica country metal. Yeah, I've heard country metal from James. He does good country metal. Now this song is just one of those songs that Metallica fans will always be divided on this one, and not me. I'm all for Mama Said. Great tune. And pairing it with a live version of So What for the single. Great choice. Then we're on to Thorn Within. Thorn Within is the only song on the second half that I am not overly big on. I don't mind it. I'm just not... It's not a song I'll ever go out of my way to listen to. I've never put it onto it. Most of these songs at some point or another have been on some type of mix for me. Thorn Within definitely has never been in any type of mix I've put together. And I don't have a good reason. It's just one of those songs. Then we're on to Ronnie. Ronnie is another song that catches a lot of flack on this album. People talk a lot of shit. And I like this song, and the reason why I like this song so much is I don't believe that it was inspired by the Dark Tower series at all from Stephen King, but it really at points sounds like it was inspired by the Dark Tower series. I just kind of like I meant it's really weird because I mentioned about not being a fan of gun violence and whatnot. This is kind of done in a storytelling, weird kind of cowboy way, not in a glorification of gun violence or anything like that. It's a warning. It's back to that kind of bluesy vibe that I was talking about with Poor Twisted Me, where you get this old kind of narrative story kind of thing instead. I really dig Ronnie, but I'm one of the few people I know that dig Ronnie. A lot of other people, not so much. And then we get into, without a doubt, my absolute favorite song on this album. However, whenever I listen to this song, I listen to a different version of this song, which I have covered when I talked about the singles. On, I believe it's the King Nothing single, or it's one of the singles I've covered. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. I want to say it was King Nothing. They have the Unencumbered by Manufacturer's Restrictions version of The Outlaw Torn, which is actually a longer version. Sorry about the pause for the violent sneezing again. I'm sure you can see the little dusty particles flying around. They're making my nose act up. It happens. Okay. So as I was saying about Outlaw Torn, I prefer the full-length version. This one actually fades out at the end because they were already pushing the limits of what a CD can handle and what a lot of CD players can handle. A lot of people, if they listen to Outlaw Torn on here, there's a high possibility it'll actually skip because most CD players, at least back in the day, were definitely designed to be able to go to 74 minutes. But if you want to push the limits of a CD, you can actually go up to about 78. And that's what Metallica did. They pushed the limits to the extreme on this one, and they got it up to 78 minutes. And because of that, not all CD players can handle it. My cat, hold on a second, let me bring Pandora in here. So, Pandora, who is begging for some attention right now, well, I'm going to sit here and pet my pussy talking about Metallica. The Outlaw Torn, if you can get your hands on the full length version, get it. Otherwise, I understand. They actually play the full length version on S&M. That's why they've got that ending on it, and it doesn't just kind of die out. It has more of a proper ending. The full version is definitely more fun. I would definitely say it's better. And on that album, it is without a doubt the best song on the album. I will argue that to the end. I like epic songs, and it's really heavy on the instrumental side for Metallica. Which, who doesn't love Metallica doing instrumental stuff, right? Yeah. See, she agrees with me. She agrees with me so much I get little kisses out of the deal. So, Outlaw Torn, fantastic song, best way to end the album. Metallica is always good about putting decent songs at the end of the album, and this by far is one of the best examples of closing out an album in the best way you can. I would recommend picking up this album if you don't own it. If you don't own it, can you really call yourself a Metallica fan? And if you do own it and you bitch about it, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, Justice is not that good of an album, and no, it was not the last best album that Metallica released. And if you are one of those people that honestly believe that And Justice for All was the last great album Metallica did, you haven't listened to anything since. You haven't. Okay, arguably, Load is not. I would say it's better than Justice, but I can understand why people don't think it's better than Justice. But it's nowhere near as depressing as Justice. Justice is like a million riffs slapped together, and dark and depressing, and makes you want to freaking self-delete. Load does not do that. Worst case scenario with Load, you just want to go turn the CD off. But go pick up the damn album. Listen to the album. It's a good album. I'm sorry. It's decent. But if you don't want to pick it up, get Reload, because that's where it really gets good. Which will be the next review. Anyways, I'm done. Comments. Let me know what you think of this album. If you hate it, tell me why you hate it. Tell me why you honestly hate it. It sucks, man. It can't just suck. You can say that you don't like it because it just doesn't appeal to your taste. I will accept that as an answer. Man, the album just sucks. Why does it suck? Because I don't like it. You just don't like it because it just doesn't appeal to you, or you don't like it for her rating? Sounds like grunge, man. Have you ever really listened to grunge? It doesn't really sound like grunge that much. Anyways, let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the bell, subscribe button, hit the little bell for notifications. There's a link that goes to Patreon. Throw me a few bucks. That's cool. Peace, love, take care, and I will see you in Reload.